Good day. Another day. So glad to be here. So glad to be with you. So, been thinking today about wisdom for this day. And there was a tool I learned at the temple a long time ago. And that tool actually got me through today. It was a bit of a rough day. And that's to remember who we are in God. What is the tool involved with this? Well, very simply, setting yourself in the right place. Very often, what we do with ourselves is we set ourselves according to how we feel. That isn't going to get us far some days when we're feeling very rough. But if we remember that God answers us and God is with us, then we can set ourselves differently and feel differently. Really odd, it works. Remember the first time I was taught that in temple, I was like, huh. But I found out it worked. First part is reset, 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 because you need to reset what you set in the morning. We talked about the three words. Now we're going to talk about a little bit more by using reset. And bringing yourself to a space where you reset that space that you're in so things can change. My favorite reset to do when things are like this is surrender, release, Father. Three words. People go, that isn't proper English. Ah, but God understands that. Surrender, release, Father. In other words, everything surrendered, everything released to Father when the reset occurs. Give it a try. So we finished up Firehawk Ridge Sanctuary. Hopefully everyone enjoyed that one. And we'll start a new one today. So, in the words of the wonderful Master, Lord, and Savior that I follow, let us begin. It was a damp day, not rainy, but damp. The kind that got into your bones. Kind that told you that things were coming that you wouldn't like. That kind of day. I was all right for George. He was used to it by now. It didn't seem that anything went right for him lately. Well, lately. The last 12 years. One church to another he hath gone. Been a pastor? Yes. Usually lead pastor. Usually led right out of the church a few months later. And as he thought, sitting in his office, all the bills stacked in front of him that he's supposed to figure out how to pay when no one is giving to the church, and they all have excuses. Like he said, it was a damp day and he knew something was coming that he wouldn't like. Head elder of the church, well, never liked him anyway. Heard those footsteps many times from that man. There he came again. Came with a formal letter. You knew that was coming. We'd like you to leave immediately. They're not right for us as a pastor. He said, agreed. I will leave. He said, I'm already packed. I went out to the tired van that he'd had for, well, last 12 years. Interesting. Everything we had 12. He'd had them for a while. That 12 years. One of those non-script vans. Nothing special about it. GMC. Full size, so it took all his stuff. Mostly his books. Didn't care about much else. Him, God, books. He was good. Interesting. Another letter had come. There was another church that wanted to interview him. As he was leaving that kind of weird little town, been in a lot of those lately, last few years, something amazing happened. That overcast, damp day, all of a sudden the clouds broke and the sun came out and shined right down through his window. Wondering what that meant. 72 miles to the next church. Interview, who knows? Haven't found home yet. People don't really want to be committed to God. Not the way I am. That's the only way I can be. So I challenge people. I don't like challenge. Tell people how it is and show them the scriptures to back it. I don't like that either. Maybe this church will be different. He did what any good modern man would do, dropped it into the GPS so he wouldn't get lost. He was one of the few of the chosen that would admit that he was lost and find help. But still, the GPS, as old as it was, about 12 years old, still worked fine. The updates worked, and it seemed to know where it was going. He didn't. There was a little note that he should stop at the diner about halfway. Well, 72 miles, so that would be lunch. Yeah. I'll stop at the diner. The note also said you can meet the wife of the former pastor who passed, and she'd like to meet you. All right, it's her diner. That's kind of odd, but I'll meet with her. Always open for food and fellowship. So he drove for about 46 miles, and the GPS told him that the diner was just over the hill, and he was amazed. It was a real diner with like that weird sign that said, "Eat food here," and was looking really friendly. That was unusual. He hadn't seen friendly for 12 years. He's seen snarled, broken, even got his jaw cracked once by somebody that got really upset about something he said from the pulpit. But he hadn't seen friendly for a long time. This looked friendly. Yes, the sign literally said, "Eat food here." He liked the joke. Stopped the van, and as usual, the van had had enough of that drive and coughed, choked, and he knew he would have to do a few little rituals on it to get it working next time he got out to it. Sitting right beside it was an old postal truck. That's what he wanted right there. Nice diesel engine. Not this thing. This thing had tested him. But God kept telling him that he had something coming. Didn't know what it was, but something. And God had also told him that church was over, and he knew that. So he was thinking diner food. Okay, well, let's see what they got. He walked in the door, and there was one of those bells that those real diners have, and it rang, and a voice from the kitchen said, "Be right out. Only me here at the moment. Busy time is an hour and away, and waitress is having a sleep back here." A few minutes later, a little plump lady came wandering out and goes, "Oh, hello. I think I know who you are. It would have took you about that time to get here." He goes, "Yeah, I'm the former pastor of a former pastor of a former pastor," he said, joking. She goes, "I get it. You've been kicked out of a lot of churches because you really want to, wish to, desire to teach about God." So that's odd. Yeah, that's my heart. That's how I want to do it. She goes, "Good, because that was my husband's heart until, well, it didn't tick anymore." He looked up and he was kind of shocked. He goes, "Pass, did he?" "Yeah, on the pulpit, right where he wanted to pass." "We have a good congregation. It's growing. But they need a real pastor to keep them going." A lot of them were like really riled up and inside some of the most interesting parts of the other side of the universe, if you get my meaning. And he thought, "I do get your meaning. Sounds like my type of church." She said, "Good, because you already did your interviews right here." He said, "Kind of unorthodox, but that's me. I don't mind." And she said, "How about liver and onions with garlic mashed potatoes and corn?" And he goes, "Lady, you just picked my favorite meal." She goes, "Coming up." And he's sitting there going, "Well, maybe I got a church to go to." We'll leave it there. Let's move on to a blessing. Let the God that created the universe create for you a day where you are met with joy, where you flow with peace, where you find the truth of abundance, and God gives you the secrets to the wonder of who you are. Allows you to see the talent you use uniquely, the message that's flowing in your heart that you came to bring, and helps you be introduced to the people you came to help. And at the same time, he's taking his paintbrush and painting in all the details. According to his will, according to his wish, according to your will and wish, if you wish so, this is so. Let's have a word of prayer. We come before you, Father, Spirit, Son, and we lift this all up to you. We push back the enemy, which has been moving quite frequently in our world, but you move even more so. Thank you for your armies, for the sounds of chariots, for the flashing of blades of fire. Those that are for us, are more than that are against us. We leave this with you, and we just thank you. We thank you for the courage and strength, and your graceful, merciful existence with us, and your wish to be closer to us, always. Thankful, grateful, gratitude. Thankful, grateful, gratitude. Thankful, grateful, gratitude. Standing in awe and honor, respect, allow all glory to flow to Father, Spirit, Son. This is, and so this is. So you be blessed. When you rest, rest well. When you wake, wake well, and know that your path is well lit by God. Blessings.